I told very few people, very, very few. But it was more like, if I go and find it didn't work out, I can just come back and...
It's like, I haven't seen you in 2 months. I've just been in Kirinyaga.
Yeah, exactly. That anxiety was like, I just left everything that I know, like my safety net, my comfort zone, and came to start over in a new place. And then the anxiety set in, like, what did I just do? I could not afford to buy meat as a student for months.
Oh my God, you're a vegetarian. It's like, no, meat is just very expensive.
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you're watching Vybes N Visas with me, Charlie Karomi, and the one, the only, Hilda. What up, Hilda? You're still kunyoing that bubble tea. Come on.
Take a sip.
The bubbles are nice.
I know, right? It's really good.
Okay, we need to wrap the story up. We've gone everywhere. We've left Kamloops. Kamloops is in our rear view mirror.
It is.
Okay,
yeah,
we're in Victoria now. Gotten a job with Noreen. At least you're on the path. At least you can afford things now, because with a job you can afford a house, food, nyama. You stopped being an involuntary vegetarian. You are able to afford meat. Come on.
Finally.
Come on. So that's where we are right now. But the most important thing, where I'm really curious, is your business, Masai Handicrafts. Because as I told you guys, the first time I met Hilda, my wife and I were in Victoria. And then we were just walking around because we were here on our anniversary.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's walk around this because one thing about Victoria, it is so beautiful. Everything looks like an Instagram picture. You turn around, you're like, that is 3,000 likes right there. That's 5,000.
Yeah, it's
so we're
magical.
Just taking a walk around, and then as we're walking, we're like, we haven't seen any melanated individuals.
It's true.
And we noticed, like, there are not a lot of melanated individuals. And then we joked that, like, anyone who's, like, African is probably working. We're the only ones. And then as we were laughing about this, my wife goes like, is that a shop selling Masai curio? And we're like, they're the Africans, you see, they're working. And that's how I met Hilda.
Yes.
Selling her wares at Masai Handicrafts. This is an amazing business. In the middle of Victoria.
Yeah.
How did you restart it here in Canada? And is it easier is it easy compared to home starting a business?
I would say no. It depends on the kind of business that you're looking for, but I would say not as much. No.
Not as much? Because you've done the business at home as well.
Yeah, I did.
And you've started it here. Same amount of struggle on either sides of the Atlantic?
No.
Easier here or easier home?
Easier home. So I finished school, everything goes well, and I got a good job, I got a promotion, so I'm much better.
This is in Kenya when Masai...
No, here.
Here.
Yeah, in Victoria. Yeah.
You got a promotion with Noreen?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I know. Honestly.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm like, I am very comfortable and happy. Just thinking, okay, a lot of students or a lot of immigrants struggle getting, a good job. Because, it's not as easy as people think it is. So just the fact that Noreen took a chance with me and she, she was able to give me a job and, getting the sponsorship for my PR and all that.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, I should be fine now. My soul should be calm, Charlie. I have given it everything.
You wanted to move, I moved. You wanted to do the course, we did the course. You wanted a job, we did the job. You wanted Victoria, we've come to Victoria.
Come to Victoria.
And your soul is still not at ease.
And again, my soul became restless again.
You're like, come on.
I know. It's like,
girl,
I know what.
You're killing me, girl.
Yeah, but then I knew why I was restless.
Why?
It's because, for me personally, as soon as I start feeling like I'm in a comfort zone, I need to push, I need to leave it. Like, comfort zones just scare me.
But in the very definition, even in the word itself, it's supposed to be a comfort zone. For you, comfort is not...
It's not comforting. It's very, very stressful.
You're a very interesting individual.
Honestly.
The fact for you, comfort is
not,
unsettling.
It's very unsettling.
Okay.
It scares me. Just feeling comfortable and seeing, oh, like, okay, we're good now. That scares me. And so the restlessness started again.
Oh, no.
But I knew why I was restless. It's because I needed to go back to what I really wanted. And that was being an entrepreneur, to restart.
Be the owner of the business. It's like, it's fine. You doctor, you work here, but who owns the hospital?
Yeah, I need to be the one who owns that. I need to know the person behind everything, who owns everything. And so the restlessness began. And for me, the fear of starting something is not as much as the restlessness that I feel.
Without starting it in the first place. Okay.
Yeah, so the restlessness is worse than the fear. So I had to do it. And so I started the venture looking into...
What year was this? 2021
as soon as I graduated, that was in 2021. So I graduated school and then I knew I had to start it. So I started looking into it. And then starting a business during COVID is maybe not the best thing.
Unless you're selling sanitizers and masks.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So 2021 Jan, I start looking, while I'm still in school, I start looking at what to do.
Yeah.
The most successful people are the ones who are farthest away from the end consumer. That's business 101. Like, be as far away as you can be from the consumer. And so that's why you'll find that the wholesaler is more successful than the retailer, but the manufacturer is more successful than the wholesaler. That has always been my thinking.
This is what you guys are taught in MBA. Okay, cool. You guys are learning something. The farther you are from the end consumer, the more your margin, the bigger your margin.
Exactly. At least that's what it is for me. So that's what I wanted. And so I started looking into businesses. But now the problem is a lot of places like markets and companies and stores that you can supply to, they want handmade things. Handmade in Canada, not handmade in Kenya or whatever.
Because importing things is a whole other...
Oh, it's a whole other mess.
Yeah. Wait, actually, you know what? Yeah. As we were talking... Wait, let me just disconnect my microphone. Just point to me.
Yeah.
I want to gather like 2 or 3 things. As we wrap up, can I pick this?
Yeah.
What else can I pick? Yes. Because we can't be talking like we don't have the things here.
We cannot.
Come on. I should have started the video. I realized I should have started the video like this. Do you see how boss I look? I'm like, welcome to Vybes. This is so boss. These are some of the things that Masai Handicraft sells.
Yes.
So something like this.
Yeah.
I love it. And this is a wine cork. This is a sandal. There's some sculptures. And I just went to her store right now and picked these up. So, wait, you were telling me you were looking into things, into businesses.
Yes. So, well, the first step in when you want to start a business venture, you need to product test. You need to test if your product will be acceptable to the customers, to the target customers. And so I try to find markets because you need to find like a minimum viable product. You need to start something that you're willing to lose, something that's not so expensive while you're still testing your product.
Yeah.
I'm just giving a crash course on MBA.
Yeah, I'm learning. People over here, take notes, guys.
So I knew, okay, let's do markets so that we can test it out on people and see whether they will accept it or at what price. Because you also need to figure out the pricing. Like, at what point, like, do you price, you keep increasing to the point where, like, the optimal point.
Yeah.
So you're testing for the price and you're testing for the product itself just to see if it's acceptable to the people. And so I reached out to many markets, to many event organizers, just trying to find a spot as a vendor. But again, the problem was a lot of markets want handmade things handmade in Canada and not in Kenya. Yeah. But some were lenient. Some were okay with things as long as it's handmade and not commercially produced. Yeah. Like produced in mass.
Like in a factory, like a machine just doing like a robot just working. They want handmade.
Yeah. They're okay with that. Yeah. And I applied, I asked. Some were rejecting me, some were like, it's during COVID, so a lot of things were just shut down. I was like, okay, let's put this on pause and let's concentrate on school. Yeah. But then in June, I remember the place where you find me at Greater Harbour, the ship point. Yeah. they called me because I had reached out to them in January. So they called me. They're like, "Oh, we're not so sure if this will work, but we want to start up the market because they usually have summer markets." So they're like, "Oh, we're starting up the summer markets. It's not, we're still during COVID, so we're not so sure how this will go, but we were wondering if you'd be interested."
And do you have your product at that time?
I have nothing. I had like a few things that I brought for my bag from coming to Kenya.
But you need more.
I need more. And so they called me in June. I think they called me in May, and the event was in June. I had a month. 1 month. And so, but remember, because I was still, my dream had not died. In January, I was still looking at how to import things, like trying to find shipping, how shipping works, and finding, companies that can do that for me. So I had written down some few notes and gotten some few contacts.
So you went back to the notes and the contacts?
And I found it. I was like, okay, reaching out to everybody. And I remember researching and trying to call people. You had to find vendors, not vendors, like the people who make the stuff. You need to order, have everything ready, and have it shipped before the market.
So you're coordinating the artisans, the person who's gathering them, the shipment, the delivery.
Yes.
So many moving parts.
Oh, yeah. And when you're starting a business, it's a one-man show, a one-woman show. Yeah. So calling my mom, shout out to my mom. She's such a big supporter. I called my mom and told her, this just happened. I just got a market. I've just been invited as a vendor and I need stuff. So my mom the next day calls. I had numbers because I had previously done the business. So I had numbers of people. So I called my calls. In 2 weeks, I need stuff to be ready. I need something to be shipped. I need to have something for the market because I've already paid for it. I've paid for everything. And, in faith that my things will arrive. So, chap, in 2 weeks, zenye zimeisha, wanatumanisha na zenye zijaisha, we'll send it later. We'll figure that out. So, my mom sends I don't know how many boxes I had. I think 3 or 2 or 3.
Good.
Hey. You'll see why it's not good.
You use what you can get,
I do. So I gather a few things. At least, thank goodness, I had some few things at home. So ready to go to the market. I call the event organizer. They're like, what? And they advise me, okay, do you have a tent? Do I have a tent? I do not have a tent. Do you have tables? People need tables. I thought
you'd give me that.
I know.
Come on.
And it's buying everything and shipping and trying to figure out, okay, we're setting up a space, so we need, something to hold your product and just everything. And you have to do that in the month. So I organize everything, buy everything that's crucial that I really need. And we go to the first market. And the first market was Canada Day. When was that? Was it July 1st? And Charlie, I remember the morning, and again, it's not knowing, I would say not knowing the worth of what I have or underestimating myself. I remember undervaluing everything that I had. To the point where I remember the first customer coming to the space. I was like, and they're like, how much is this for? And I was like, do I give them? They're like, okay, will they accept $10? 30? Yeah, I remember they were buying a shirt. Yeah. And I was like, should I tell them 40 or 30? Like, will they accept? So I'm like, I think I told them 25, and they're like, 25? Take it. I was like, okay, maybe that was a fluke.
Maybe let's try the other one. Someone else came.
Yeah, and then that Canada Day, everyone was coming to the ship point because they were having fireworks. There was an event. But I didn't know any of it. But before that, I asked, how many people were we estimating? They're like 8,000 to 10,000. But I was like,
at most 80 or 50.
Yeah, sioni kama watu wengi watakuja kununua. It's starting out, so let's see how it goes. And I remember the second customer and the third customer and the fourth customer.
Did you have any stock left by the end of the day?
I barely. I went home with, I had this bins. I think you can see that. I think I had 6 or 5. I think I came back with 3 or something or less. I don't remember. But that first day,
it taught you to stop undervaluing your things.
During the day I kept increasing the prices and people were still buying and people were still shocked.
That was your market research.
Yeah, that was what I wanted. I was like, 10 bob, not just 10 bob,
Yeah.
20 bob. Like, I remember earrings selling them for $10, and they were like, everyone in the market, their earrings are going for like 25, 20, 25.
And they're not
30.
even as nice, not as authentic.
They're not as authentic, because my stuff is authentic. I know my stuff is good,
Yeah.
but I do not believe in myself as much. And I did not go around to ask how people are selling their products for. And Charlie, I kept increasing the prices throughout the day, and people still being surprised at how affordable it was. And I kept increasing to the point I was like, wow, I really undervalued my product.
You did.
And I remember coming back in the evening, because I had help, and all of us just being shocked. It's like, what just happened?
What the damn hell?
What just happened? Like, people believed, people actually wanted, because again, there's barely any African representation in Victoria. You've seen that.
Yeah, I have.
So them seeing this and seeing like the only African girl there, and
you're like, I want that. It's different. It's unique.
It's unique.
It's not like what everyone else has.
Yeah, and my setup was so colorful. And like, African Kenyan stuff is so beautiful. It pops. And I remember it got to a point where during the market, we were so surrounded by people, I could barely, like, the whole table, everywhere was surrounded to the point that I could barely even do anything. Like, even giving change was a problem.
Yeah, it's like, just give me a
second. And I remember the event organizer coming with camera people trying to record, and I could barely even say hi.
It's like, bruh, I'm busy. I'm doing things. Hilda, I'm just looking at the time. We're running out of time, but just allow me to ask you 3 questions.
Yeah.
Question number 1 is, with how Masai Handicrafts is going, after that first day, did your confidence in your product increase?
No, way too much. Yeah, it just whoop, it went way up. Yeah.
Another question. That was a slow ball. Another question, because I need to ask this. What's the future of Masai Handicrafts? Because you just started it in 2021, so it's about 2 years old in Canada, right? What's the future like? Is it still going strong? Are you finding more avenues, more places to sell your wares? Are you thinking of using pop-ups all the time? Am I an actual physical store? What's the plan? Yeah.
Wait, it's actually not 2021. It was 2022. It was last year.
Oh, it was last year?
Yeah, because that's when we met. That was my first.
That was the first one.
Anyway,
So tell me this, what's the plan for Masai Handicrafts?
Well,
the next year, 2 years, 3 years?
I'm hoping that I can supply to stores. Just so, I do not have the risk. I do not take the risk and the burden on the cost of that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, because a lot of people keep asking where I have a shop or a store, I'm hoping to open a physical one.
Like a physical location. So when people ask you, like, this is the address, come through. And also, as you said, because I'm an MBA student right now, distance yourself from the end consumer.
Yes.
Right now you're in retail. You go one step back, you're wholesaling. You go one step back, you're handling the production.
Yes.
That's how you get into the money.
That is how I get into the money.
Okay. I also need to ask you this question. 2 last questions. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in all of this? What's the biggest lesson you've learned?
Never underestimate yourself. Never don't be the reason why your dreams do not come into fruition. Do not be your own hindrance. Believe in yourself. Be like Kanye, who believes he's a god. It's
like everything you touch is gold. Be like that.
Be like Kanye.
Okay.
Honestly, just believe in yourself and never let any situation or anyone make you feel small than you are. Never let that.
And then final question. You said when you set out here, it was to calm your soul. That was the reason you came to Canada. I asked you, why did you come here? To calm your soul. So far, is your soul a bit calmer than it was back home?
It's a bit calmer for sure, but it's still,
as soon as you get to a point of comfort, it's nini.
Yeah, even right now, because I haven't done any markets, it's winter, but my soul right now, even as we speak, it's very restless.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually, maybe in the future, I might feel so restless and need to leave Canada, but for now, this is home, but I don't think my soul will ever be.
I think the lesson we draw from that is that people assume that things in life have a finality to them. It's like, this is it. When I do this, I'm happy.
No.
Happiness And contentment is a constant work in progress.
It is.
Just constantly, every single day.
Yeah.
It's not a one-stop shop.
Yes.
See a one-time payment in installments.
And never stop working on yourself. Because the reason why I felt so restless was because I felt like I was getting comfortable. So don't ever get to that point where you're not comfort zone and you're just happy with where you're at. Constantly improve and get better and want more, and just, I don't know, just try to find what sets your soul on fire and find a way to calm your soul, because I don't think mine will ever be calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hilda, what up? Okay, this is super cool. Yo, Masai Handicrafts. Go follow them on IG. That's the name of the page on IG.
Yes,
I'll put the
Masai
link.
Handicrafts, yes.
Masai Handicrafts. I'll put the link in the description and as well on the screen. Kidogo, go check them out. If you're in Victoria, come through, check out the awesomeness that Hilda has for you. Hilda, thank you so much for sharing your story about how you came here, about how you're trying to settle your soul and how that's a work in progress. And I wish you nothing but the very best. Let me tell you, Masai Handicrafts is the thing. Imagine you walking up to that dinner that you have at the office and you're like, looking like a whole Okompo. Love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And all the very best with everything that you're doing, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Boom.
Thank you.
And I know you watch the videos, so you know what's coming up now.
Wait.
You know what's coming up. So how we end every episode of Vybes N Visas is that Swahili proverb, and you're Kenyan, you know this. I won't even remind you. I will not even remind. I won't even remind her. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Vybes N Visas. Thank you guys so much for watching. You've been with me, your host Charlie Karomi, and the one, the only Hilda of Masai Handicrafts. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as usual, remember what I always tell you. Kutembea kwingi
ni kuona mengi.
Boom! That's what I'm talking about. See you on the next one.
Bye.
And now my love for you is so strong.